Hey guys, I'm gonna take you through my meal prep, making a couple of meals using a lot of codfish, easy, digestible for me, which is important at this stage. I'm 6 weeks out just about. This is an oven tray, and unfortunately my oven isn't that big, but I have some sheet of baking paper on here, and I'm gonna bake the fish on here. And what we're gonna do is first sprinkle this with some oil. And actually, this is very handy. It works with air pressure. You just pump it up and you can just, spray the oil out of it. And the benefit of this is that you use a lot less oil. You can spread it out a lot more. So you can just do this. Boom. And you covered basically everything. And you can just put any oil in here that you want, except for coconut oil, of course, because that is solid. But you can put rice oil, olive oil, sunflower oil, it doesn't really matter. But it's a lot less calories using this one. And now, using the magic of a video, we're gonna put the fish on here in just a second. And there we have it. We added 14 white fishes on the oven tray. And every one of these blocks is 100 grams, and it contains about 17 grams of protein, and I use 2 of these a meal. So this is 7 meals in total. And I only eat 3 of these, 3 meals of 2 a day. So that means I can last about 2 days with this. But I'm gonna do this a couple of times, so we're gonna show you how I prep my cutting for my competition, my cutting meals. So what we do next is we, yet again, use the oil so the fish doesn't dry out. So just sprinkle it on there. And you can imagine how difficult it would be if you would use a regular oil bottle, because a lot more would come out and it would add a lot of calories. The benefit of fish is that it doesn't have as much fat as meat does, and that's what pretty much every bodybuilder does. They just substitute the meat with fish, and that's how they lose the extra weight. And they don't even track their food, they just do things like that, and it works, obviously. For me, it does as well. And now it's time, of course, to add some flavor, what most bodybuilders forget. Okay, we've got a few different kinds of herbs here. First, a herb mix of white fish. Now this simply contains a couple of herbs like dill and lemon to give it a little kick. And I like some spice, so this is cayenne pepper, which I'll add on it. And I like some herbaceous flavor, so I add some rosemary. And last but not least, a little salt, so that it will extract the flavors out of the fish. And the problem is that a lot of bodybuilders, they gag at the sight of white fish because they're used to cooking it in bland water without paying attention to actually giving it some taste. So this is how to do it, guys. As you can see, I added all the herbs. It looks a lot more appetizing already, and it's time to pop this one in the oven. And I'm gonna use 2 hands for this, so I'll be right back. So I just put it on 50 minutes for 250 degrees Celsius, and it's a regular hot air. Now it's time to do the vegetables, and you can see I have 2 very big pans in here. And we're gonna add the vegetables in there. We're gonna steam/cook them, and we're gonna use a combination of frozen and fresh vegetables. And I'm gonna use simpler vegetables than in the past, because now I need fast digesting food, because a lot of bodybuilders make the mistake of pretty much eating, if it fits your macros up until the end of the competition, but it just brings too many risks with it. So I'm gonna show you what I mean. So what I did is I added broccoli and cauliflower, 2 vegetables of which I know that digest really well with me, so you don't get a bloated stomach. So even if you have a flat stomach, a tiny waste. If you eat the wrong foods, you temporarily can have a big belly for real. And so I added some salt and I added some pepper on this. But this is the base. This makes sure that there's enough moisture for the rest of the vegetables to cook. And we're gonna add some fresh vegetables on top of here. So yeah, it's gonna be 2 full pans. And I use about 300 grams of vegetables each meal. And this is about 1 kilo. So we're gonna pretty much have to add double this on top of it. And what I added here is some fresh broccoli, cauliflower, and some leftover tomato and mushrooms. Again, all vegetables of which I know that are digestive really efficiently. And I'm gonna add some herbs on this as well, some salt, some black pepper, some curcuma, I don't know what it is in English, some laos, which is just a nice herb, antioxidants, some ginger, and a spice mix with garlic, paprika, cinnamon, ginger, shallots, coriander, stuff like that, to just give it a kick as well. And what I didn't mention is, of course, you gotta add a lid so that it can steam and all cook, so you don't want any tough vegetables. And again, the frozen vegetables at the bottom will make sure that the top, which is fresh vegetables, will cook as well, and because of the steam. And the herbs will all, because they're all gonna be cooked and they're all gonna be mixed, it's all gonna spread out evenly and give every piece of vegetable the same incredible taste. And the last ingredient is brown rice. This is about 750 grams. And I said I could make 7 meals, and I want about 100 grams a meal. So that is perfect. And we're gonna add some herbs to this as well. This will dissolve into the water, and this is low salt because we already added the herbs to the other parts of the dish. Gluten-free too, for the ones who are gluten intolerant. And it's a vegetable stock, and it's gonna give some extra taste to the rice, so I'm gonna add that right now. And just a quick tip, guys, this is pineapple slices. You can also get fresh pineapple, which is much cheaper. It takes some work to decor, but that's better. But pineapple, why? I eat, this is 5 slices, about 130 grams, and it contains an enzyme, the only one in nature, that helps digest protein. And the more obviously you get of it, the easier your body digests the protein. And usually that is a problem with people that eat too much protein and your body can't handle it, causing bloating. So I eat this before every meal, because, you know, there's about 30 to 40 grams of protein in each meal. So helping you digest, I eat this about 3 to 4 times a day. And it's just, you know, a tip from my coach, which really helped me a lot. Right, as you can see, I've got 7 meals here. All about 275 grams of cooked rice, 250 grams of vegetables, and all we need to do now is add the fish. And as you can see, guys, the fish is done. It'll obviously shrinked in size. Ideally, it probably should have been 5 minutes shorter, because it's, you know, when you can see, you see those white things, those white spots in the water, that's basically protein. And a lot of people think it's fat, but no, it's protein that is denatured out of the fish from the heat. Just like when you boil an egg, the protein changes shape, but it doesn't just, it digests just as easy, but you know, then you know you overcooked your fish a bit. But I'm gonna add 2 of these to all these meals. But what we are missing, you know, we got the carbs, the rice, we've got the vegetables, we've got the protein, but in none of those are fat. You know, we added a little oil to the fish, but that's maximum 10 grams, if that. So we're gonna add a little spoon of coconut oil onto each meal after I put the fish in, so it melts over the fish. And you know, it just adds healthy fats to the meal, which in my opinion is very important. All right, so this is the final product. One of the meals looks pretty good, right? We've got the fish, we've got our vegetables, and we've got our rice, and we've got our healthy fats on top of the fish. But before we start eating, it's time for some pineapple. So before every meal you eat this to help digest the protein that's about to come in. So let's get started right now. And I'm gonna go train after this. It's gonna be arms, but I have some footage to show you from yesterday. And I'm gonna work on my weaknesses. It's only 6 weeks, and now you can really see my shape really well. So there's gonna be, it was a chest and back workout, but we added some extra exercises, which you're gonna see right now. Alright guys, as you saw, the carbohydrates have increased compared to what I ate a couple of weeks ago. But that has a reason. The total calories remain about the same, but I have found carbs to be very important, especially in the last weeks before a show, but it is specific to how I am treating this preparation. You want to remain energized, and my personal vision is that when cutting, you shouldn't decrease your calories that much at all. You should just get your workout intensity up, your duration up of the workout, and the cardio. Burn more calories instead of taking in less calories. That's what I'm doing, and it's been working amazingly. So today is a superset day, and from now on until the show I'm going to just do supersets. Arnold used to do this months in advance. I'm doing it about 2 months in advance now, 1.5 months. And if you have ever tried supersetting chest with back, you'll know exactly why it is so beneficial when you want to burn some extra calories. It's just that much more exhausting, yet you get an amazing pump. So today it's back and chest. Starting out with the lat pull down and bench press combination. Classic combination Arnold used to do, and the lat pull down stretches out the chest, and the bench press flushes blood from your back to your chest, and it's just a synergy of exercises. Back and chest is a great combination if you want the best pump you've ever had. Next up, probably my single most favorite back exercise, the T-bar row. Take a good look how I'm performing it. It's taken me a long time to figure out the essence of this exercise. You really gotta feel how the bar pulls on your body and move with it, if that makes sense. And I use smaller plates as well, so I can stretch deeper. And I don't try to change the angle of my back, because this is a pure rowing movement, not a shrug movement, which most people change it to on this exercise. And combined with it is the incline bench press. And again, you can do this one way or another, but I prefer the old school way. Letting the bar sink down right under your chin, feeling a deep stretch, and then push it up again. Really a great combination that is certain to already fatigue you, and it's only the start of the workout. Basically, at the end of this superset, you should already be breathing heavily, as if you've been doing some high intensity cardio, and that's exactly the point of this. You're training both your stamina and you're building muscle at the same time. Basically the best of both worlds. Now it's time for a wide grip bent over row. This is like a combination between training the lower back and the lats, which the wide grip ensures. And I like doing it on the Smith machine when doing supersets. It's easier and more efficient, and I'm able to contract my back a lot better. And we superset this with the flat dumbbell flies. The old school way of doing it is putting your legs up like this, making sure your back is straight on the bench, and make sure you stretch out your chest as much as you can. Visualize expanding your rib cage and your chest at the same time. But what you don't want to do is go all the way to the top, because that would decrease the tension on your chest. And the flies, to me, at least in this way, is all about the stretch. The contraction will come later. And now it's time for a high row machine, another exercise that works both the lats and the lower back. When you stretch all the way at the top, as you can see, you target those lats, and when you pull all the way in, you contract your lower back. It's an all-round exercise that works really well for a thicker and wider back if you do it correctly. So you can really clearly see my lats stretching out, which is what you always should do during a back exercise. And supersetted with this is the incline hammer strength chest press. And I want to focus on my upper chest, and you know, hammer strength always has these exercises that makes a chest exercise very easy to do, very easy to squeeze your chest muscles. And I always make sure to add an extra exercise like this to the mix, especially during my prep, to emphasize my weaker points, you know, to improve upon them.
Dat heb ik ook nodig, maar niemand weet hoe dat moet.
Ik wel.
Ja, jij wel.
So here you see my coach helping my brother, pretty much telling him how to hit the exercise correctly, when to slow down, and helps him push just a little harder. My coach will do this on certain days of the week to me, and it really does help. It's those little details like the extra stretch on a chest exercise or that extra squeeze on a back exercise that make the difference in the long run. Doing some posing here, and the pump I'm having here is pretty much what it will look like when I'm on stage, so it's a good way to assess your physique for weak points. And I'm about to do some shrugs. My coach notified me of this. My traps are a little behind compared to the rest of my physique, not by much, but you want everything in perfect proportion. So right here I'm doing the last set of shrugs. I did 4 different sets, and each set grabbing the bar with my hands a little closer together, and this makes sure you hit every angle of the traps. And you know, I personally didn't even realize my traps were behind a bit, but it's always good to have someone else who is objective to tell you what's up. It's good to know exactly what needs to be done. And right now I'm doing another interesting exercise that my coach told me about. It's basically a face pull machine, but by changing the angle of your body like this, you hit your traps really well. As you can see, you can get a much better squeeze this way than you possibly could with regular shrugs. It fills your traps right up, and I'm going to be doing trap exercises like this every other day, all the way up until the competition, to fill them right out.
doing another pose here, the front lat spread. You can see the serratus muscle really well now as I'm dialing down for the show. And of course, we're about to do an exercise that emphasizes this muscle really well. And you have probably guessed it, it's the dumbbell pullover. Now, wearing this tank top, you can see more clearly what the pullover does for the back. And by the movement of my lats, you can see the way I'm stretching it out at the bottom, and I also make sure to keep my arms in a fixed bent position like that, so I don't use any triceps, and that's what a lot of people do. They make it a half a tricep exercise, but you don't want to use any other muscles except, of course, for the lats and the chest. So when I go down, I stretch the lats, and when I go back up, I squeeze my chest. An absolute old school perfect exercise for a superset day like this. Oh yeah, and what you saw right there, the green plate under the bench, that creates a perfect incline to do the dumbbell pullover on. And you really want a slight incline so that the dumbbell won't hit the floor, but you're still able to squeeze your chest really well. And if you put the incline too steep, you won't be able to squeeze your chest as much, and that's not what we want. Next up is another pullover variation, the cable pullover. On this one, the squeeze is much easier, but the stretch is a little more tricky. So what you see me do is I put my hips backwards as I stretch the lats. So basically I'm pulling on my lats a little more, and when I get back up, I move my hips back forward to make the squeeze of the chest easier. And when you're used to do a certain exercise, you instinctively move your body in correspondence to the movement of the exercise to activate the right muscles. But tricks like that what I just showed you, work really well. And guys, if you find the dumbbell pullover difficult to perform, don't give up on it, but first do this exercise to get used to the movement, and then move over to the dumbbell pullover. That should make it easier. Alright, to finish off chest, I did some push-ups on the Smith machine bar. And in comparison to floor push-ups, this allows you to stretch deeper, and it's better on the wrists as well. I did two variations. First, a regular push-up, as you can see right now, and then push-ups with a narrower grip. And I felt my chest could fatigue a little more, so that's why I finished it off doing this. So again, doing some posing. Every time there's different lighting, and that makes your physique look very different every time, and it's a great way to see if you really have a complete physique. Some people always choose lighting that looks the best on them, but if you look good under any type of lighting whatsoever, then you really know your stuff. And again, posing is, in my opinion, a part of your workout. You're still contracting the muscle, holding it and practicing how to contract it properly. This benefits you a lot during training, and it's just fun to watch your own progress. And that was it for today, guys. In the next 2 days, I'll be uploading my supplement video, and I'll be doing more food videos as well. I'll try to get a bulking and cutting video up soon too. Nutrition is very important to me, and for anyone that doesn't know, I study nutrition and dietetics at a university in the Netherlands, so it simply interests me in general. So hopefully you'll learn something along the way. And thanks a lot for watching, guys, and remember to stay good.
Because a lot more would come out and it would add a lot of calories. The benefit of fish is that it doesn't have as much fat as meat does, and that's what pretty much every bodybuilder does. They just substitute the meat with fish, and that's how they lose the extra weight. and they don't even track their food, they just do things like that and it works obviously. For me it does as well. And now it's time, of course, to add some flavor, what most bodybuilders forget. Okay, we've got a few, and I only eat 3 of these, 3 meals of 2 a day. So that means I can last about 2 days with this, but I'm gonna do this a couple of times, so we're gonna show you how I prep my cutting for my competition, my cutting meals. So what we do next is we yet again use the oil so the fish doesn't dry out. So just sprinkle it on there, and you can imagine how difficult it would be if you would use a regular, because that is solid, but you can put rice oil, olive oil, sunflower oil, doesn't really matter, but it's a lot less calories using this one. And now, using the magic of a video, we're gonna put the fish on here in just a second. And there we have it. We added 14 white fishes on the oven tray. And every one of these blocks is 100 grams and it contains about 17 grams of protein, and I use 2 of these a meal. So this is 7 meals in total. Just sprinkle this with some oil, and actually this is very handy. It works with air pressure. You just pump it up and you can just, you know, spray the oil out of it. And the benefit of this is that you use a lot less oil. You can spread it out a lot more. So you can just do this. Boom. And you covered basically everything. And you can just put any oil in here that you want, except for coconut oil, of course. Hey guys, I'm gonna take you through my meal prep, making a couple of meals using a lot of codfish, easy, digestible for me, which is important at this stage. I'm 6 weeks out just about. This is an oven tray, and unfortunately my oven isn't that big, so, but I have some sheet of baking paper on here, and I'm gonna bake the fish on here. And what we're gonna do is first